You're watching VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. We are live from Fort Lauderdale. Look at this. We are here in, where are we? The Fort Lauderdale Diplomat, that's where we are. And we are with the second episode of VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. I'm Rick Fanover, the Rickatron, and let's just go real quickly to the slides. I want to show you where we're at. We started with the first episode on Thursday, and we had myself and Caitlin outline the agenda, and where we are today is we're going to have Anton Gostev up with us today here. So there we are. Tomorrow I've got David Bennett, the CEO of Object First. He's even watching right now. He's like, how is this going to go? And then we also have Jason Garbus from Numberline Security going to talk ZTDR, Zero Trust Data Resiliency. But I got a special surprise for everyone today. I got Anton Gostev, Chief Product Officer of Veeam. Anton, we're live. I've known you for so long here, my whole time at Veeam. So great to have you back at VeeamON. And the best thing is, he says, I don't want any slides. But Anton, welcome to VeeamON.
Thanks for having me, Rick. Thanks.
So we were talking, and object storage is kind of what we wanted to talk about today, because we're involved with the general session, we're involved with a number of breakouts, and I really want to give you some time to give your perspective about the innovation that we've done, the journey we've had. We were just talking maybe back to 2018 or so, and some of the first models were introduced and a couple enhancements, but I've always said Veeam is this interesting crossroads of data, and I really think object storage has come to be a first-class citizen.
Exactly.
What does it look like from your point of view?
Well, as you mentioned, probably 6 or 7 years ago, we saw that object storage is really the next big thing. And why? Probably 3 things. First, we saw that it provides that universal API that can equally be used both for on-prem and cloud, right? And it was already obvious that world is moving to hybrid, right? You need to have the solution that works equally well for both. Second, we, at that time, thanks to kind of when Veeam started, we were like predominantly SMB company. Many of our customers used really low-end storage. Like we saw constant corruptions in support, like in reality, and we understood that like the next generation backup repository, the API, how you talk to it, is very important. And in S3, for those who don't know, in S3, when you send an object, right, you send for each object you send to object storage, you include the kind of checksum with it, and the object storage then, if it corrupts, right, it refuses it, you resend it. But when you do the restores as well, object storage, when it pulls the block, it will do the check. Again, if it pulled something that got silently corrupted, it will transparently serve you another copy. Well, for most object storage, that do like 2-3 copies of objects, right? So this reliability, I think everybody agrees, is the key for backups. And the third one, also about the same time, we were getting tired of dealing with different issues that were specific to particular file systems, right? And we kind of, at this point, we were like, we had enough, right? In the ideal world, what would it be? In an ideal world, we would want to be as close to the storage as possible. We want to be our own file system. Object storage allows us to be basically our own file system. And we know exactly how we put, what we put. We can do all the optimizations, how we handle metadata versus having to rely on storage doing this. And then when it struggles with something, we can do anything about it. Like, you know, in the early days of RAFS, many Veeam customers know like how we struggled with metadata scalability issues, right?
Yeah, this brings up a good point, Anton, because there's been so much that we've learned, again, the crossroads of data. Every API that we're ever given, every file system that we go to and from, we're notorious of, your team, I should say, is notorious in a good way of finding anomalies and APIs not doing what they told us they were going to do. Go figure. This stuff whether it's a virtualization platform, a cloud target, storage file systems. We've seen it across the board. And I remember there was a saying within the product team. It was really clear, like, I don't trust any API. I'm going to verify that it's been written in, things like that. And when I think about the innovation that we've done through that, the Smart Object Storage API is one that, honestly, we don't talk enough about it. And I really like it. I mean, the way I explain it is there's a lot of data locality logic and, capacity across nodes logic to think about, because object storage, you just don't usually think about the capacity. But walk us through how the Smart Object Storage API was born.
It's almost around specific use cases. There are kind of 3 levels of integrations with object storage API you can do. What almost every object storage vendor should do if they just want to provide a little bit better solution with minimal investment for Veeam, right? Is level 1 is kind of when you can share your physical capacity and how far you're from saturating the storage, right? Very easy. Normally, object storage is has infinite capacity that doesn't even have a built-in means to tell back the client that I'm running out of capacity, right? So that's what we added first. Very easy for any object storage to integrate. Second, it's much bigger step already from the first one, is what we call smart entities. If we don't go into a long technical explanation, what it allows storage vendors actually to remove very expensive load balancers in front of the object storage, right? Because then it can tell Veeam for which machine, which backup should go to which node, right? It's kind of, this is really a big deal. We were surprised to hear from the biggest vendor that they got excited about it simply because that removes this big piece of hardware that they previously needed. Now Veeam can do this load balancing for them. And finally, last but not least, the third extension we just released in 12.1 is a kind of deep archive object storage class for on-prem storage, right? So you can build a storage system in a way that the data gets offloaded to really cheap storage or maybe even tape behind the scenes, right? And there is, I believe, one object storage system that combines disks and tape. And with Veeam, you are allowed to, that extension allows you to basically let Veeam know that this object storage support archived here, and all the cool stuff we can do with our scale-out repository archived here, you can now use with on-prem storage as well, right?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, we're going to talk a lot more throughout the whole body of VeeamON. So if you haven't gone to VeeamON.com, you can register for the virtual experience. We just practiced part of the keynote. We've got some big surprises, friends. At least the first one isn't object storage related, but we're going to have some really big surprises. So I think, Felicia, if you can do a push of VeeamON.com, you can sign up today. And I want to give a big shout out to all over the US, New Mexico, Poland, and Facebook in Fort Lauderdale. People are watching from downstairs. Okay, you're watching downstairs, but you can't come in here just yet. Anton, one more thing before I go on to our next segment. We're here in the expo hall. We've got all kinds of our partners, some of them hooting and hollering during our VeeamON Today show, powered by Object First. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. But Anton, you see a lot with our partnerships. I like to say partnerships are in our DNA. What's your point of view of some of the innovation that our partners bring to the storage conversation?
Yeah, we're literally in the middle of expo hall, right, Rick? And I was blown away when I entered by the amount of innovation that our support for object storage has sparkled. Like going from left to right, object first. Which is on-prem object storage. Then Wasabi, one of the biggest cloud object storage partners. Today, then I see Scality, another on-prem object storage. Then I see Exagrid, our diamond sponsor, who have just, I think they just shipped S3 interface into their storage, which is really cool, I think. Well, in theory, right? We'll see in practice, but because it's a global dedupe system, right. So whatever you send through S3 gets global dedupe. Very interesting to see how well it's going to work. Then going Backblaze, another cloud object storage and Pure Storage that provides all flash, one of the fastest object storage. We actually do have them in our performance testing lab. I don't know if Store 1 does object storage or not, but 11 systems I see they also have their own object storage offering for the. So like half of the sponsors is object storage. Like that. Imagine that we just 6 years ago we didn't support it, right? Now it's a big deal, and every single vendor has something special about them. Like we talked about Exagrid, right? Wasabi, Backblaze, they try to compete with big cloud object storage vendors in terms of price, in terms of not charging for APIs, which is really a big deal, right? If you go and do the hyperscalers, so it's incredible, and it's just the innovation is just starting. It's still a young market, right?
Yeah. So Anton, congratulations to what your team is doing here, and I know that the Object First team has taken it really serious as well as part of VeeamON Today, powered by Object First. And one thing I got to remind everyone, we're going to be live tomorrow with a wicked amount of content. So go on over to VeeamON.com. You're going to see we got VeeamON Today. Again, tomorrow we've got the general session. We've got a block of breakout contents, and we're going to repeat that on Wednesday as well. So kind of closing thoughts, Anton, anything you want to offer up to the audience here at the VeeamON Today show powered by Object First?
Well, be sure not to miss tomorrow's keynote, because Rick, would you agree we're going to make one of the probably biggest announcements in the Veeam's history?
Let me say it another way, not just the biggest, the most product demos ever at a VeeamON general session agenda.
But that's the second day.
Total, in total,
yeah.
10 demos, holy buckets.
Yeah.
Buckets, there you go. Holy buckets. There,
well,
that one might stick. That one might stick. Awesome. We got a question come in. Will object storage integrate with Veeam Cloud Connect? I'm going to take that one and say maybe, but unless you have something you want to add, Anton. But I think that there's a lot of questions in that area, but I think we got to get the plumbing to a next level first, but not sure if you want to take that question.
I agree. At some level, I think you already can use object storage, the Cloud Connect backend. I just don't remember what are the limitations. Some of them, in some cases, you can scale out repository. I think you can use it.
Yeah. I think I had the same answer. I wasn't 100% sure either, but just talk to your local Veeam contact.
But it's interesting question is do you need Cloud Connect backup if it's a direct to object now supported since version 12, right?
That's what Vladimir would tell me. Yeah. Awesome. Anton, thank you so much for being on VeeamON Today, powered by Object First.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, now let's take a quick look at a video message from our sponsor, Object First. And what a great episode to have Ghost Dev up. I was really smart, and I got early on his agenda. And now I want to go to something near and dear to my heart. I want to talk community, and I've got Safiomo. Welcome back.
Hello, Rick. How are you?
I'm great, and had you on last year to talk community, and you didn't quite know what you were getting into, but you said yes to coming back, so that's a good sign.
Second VeeamON, second time on the VeeamON Today show, but glad to be back and talking community, because that's what this event's all about.
Yeah, indeed. So, and we're going to talk community as well on Wednesday. So let's go back over to the slides real quick. Sure. And I stole 3 of your slides, I think.
Yes.
And let's see, what do we got? There we go. So the first thing I want to talk about are some of the near and dear kind of core highest level programs, Sophia. So tell me about, I use this phrase, Veeam 100. Tell me what this means for the audience and how they can engage.
Yeah, so the Veeam 100 is our top evangelist program, technical communities. This began in 2015 with our Veeam Vanguards. And Rick actually started this program. So maybe Rick, why don't you tell the audience what was so important and special to you about starting evangelist programs for Veeam?
Yeah, so it was important in 2015 to really go to that next level of community. Make no mistake, Veeam's always had a community. Anton, for example, has had the forums since the very beginning. And that's what I say is lowercase community, that big mass, right?
Yeah.
But there was an opportunity to get into what I call capital C community, which would be getting into things like recognition of some of the members, and we had more products at that time. We had our very first VeeamON in 2014, and so it was a good time to really do that. But we've gone so much farther along.
Yes, the program has definitely developed, but it was important, like Rick said, to recognize these people who are going above and beyond to educate the community. So we have our Veeam Vanguard program. This was the first program established in 2015. And the Veeam Vanguards are the top influencers in their own right. They blog, they podcast, they post on Reddit and external platforms, and that's how they get accepted into this program. The Veeam Legends was established later on, and this celebrates our community members who are posting on Veeam-owned properties, like the R&D forums you just mentioned with Anton, our community resource hub, their user group leaders. And then we have our Veeam MVPs. This is internal. So this is for the Veeamers who they love community beyond their work. And they put in that effort to share knowledge with the community even when it's not a part of their 9 to 5. And we wanted to recognize them for that. The Veeam Vanguards are brought into the program once a year. Applications typically open in December. Veeam Legends have 2 entrances every year, one in February and one in August, so there's still a chance to become a legend this year if you're interested. And the Veeam MVPs are brought in by product management once a year, about March.
Yeah, indeed. So we have a business arrangement with Anton's team, actually. Anton, a long time ago, had recognized that for the employees, that the community kind of evangelism part, when it isn't part of their job and they're doing a really good job at it, they want to be recognized as well. So we really love these community memberships, and these are some pretty awesome badges that can be earned. Yeah.
Shout out to the creative team.
Yeah,
they do great work. So this is what the programs are and how to become a part of them. But there's also a lot of benefits to the program if we can go to the next slide. So there's a ton of benefits to being a part of the Veeam 100 program. Private betas, NFR licenses, pre-launch briefings. Even last week, we had a pre-launch VeeamON preview for our Veeam 100 members, and they got some insights as to what will be discussed this week on site. There's the invite to a private chat with the Veeam 100 on our Community Resource Hub, R&D access, and of course, the invite to the Veeam 100 Summit. That is the big thing that everybody wants to join. You get access to product management, product strategy. You get to connect with the community for a fun week, all expensed by Veeam. And I think it's the highlight of the year for our community.
Most expenses, not all expenses. Like most
lodging,
meals,
hotel,
there's a few things we don't. So it's a great experience, super unique. And a lot of times people ask me, how do I get into this, right? And it's one of those things that if you identify some of the Veeam 100 members, look at some of their different properties, look at our community hub at community.veeam.com, look at the different leaders out there, but also think about ways to find your own way. And I like to say that like GitHub is a really good example, because again, your own property.
Reddit.
It's Reddit.
We've entered people just from posting on Reddit. So whatever platform that you choose to evangelize Veeam on, we'll accept it.
That's right. That's right. So many ways to engage, and the swag. The swag. The swag is good.
Yeah, Jeff's in here. So.
Yeah, Jeff is in here for sure. But anyways, so one more thing. Tell us about this hub, Sophia. I think it's super important.
Yeah, the Community Resource Hub is all things community. So we host our community events on there, our user groups. There's a leaderboard where you can see the top community members, and you can ask them questions of how they got to the top of the leaderboard. How do you become a part of this Veeam 100 program? There's also areas to post your own content in the discussion boards if you have questions. If you are a blogger or a podcaster, there's a category for that, so on and so forth. And this week, we have a VeeamON space. If you go on the Community Hub, there's a QR code on the screen. You can see this entire area dedicated to all conversations with the community about VeeamON, which is really exciting this year.
Yeah, it is. And I got to say that the leaderboard is a really easy way to kind of see how do I need to behave to look at consideration for these Veeam 100 programs. And we have a digital platform here. This would really lead more towards the legends, but also some of the vanguards and the Veeam MVPs as well.
Yeah, post a question on there. How do I become a legend? How do I become a vanguard? And comments will pour through from the community answering on how to become one.
And then also potentially identify maybe areas of the community that are underserved.
Yeah.
You know, so a couple of different things. And just a reminder, you know, we're here at VeeamON today, powered by Object First. Tomorrow, it gets real. We're going to have all types of keynotes and sessions. So you definitely want to go over to VeeamON.com where you can register for the virtual experience. So really good stuff. So community rocks.
Community rocks.
And Sophia, we're going to go to my favorite part of the
Okay.
show next, and we're going to go into Steal a Slide.
Steal a slide. Let's
Steal
do
and
it.
slides. I love stealing slides. And when we went through it, Sophia, you actually helped me pick some of these right here. So
I did.
yeah. So which ones kind of stuck out to you?
So yeah, we have two sessions that we'll steal a slide from, one being Embrace the Breach. This is from Brad and Michael, and they'll be talking about how you should familiarize yourself and embrace the fact that organizations are going to get hit with ransomware attacks. It's not the if, but when. So we really need to prepare for when that happens, and they'll go over ways to securely and quickly recover after a ransomware attack happens. This is actually on the online experience for VeeamON, so if you're not on site, you can also tune into this session virtually, which is a great thing.
Yeah, and the second one, the hidden feature hunt, will be on the virtual experience, but after event. This is going to be recorded here, so
Yeah.
really highly anticipated session from two of our community members, one
Former
former
community members.
legend, former Vanguard. All right, let's go first. As you said, Brad and Michael, I have to give proper attribution whenever I steal content from
Yeah.
them. So I did take their first slide, and I think I took 2 slides from them. So let's
into it.
first go here. Understanding a cyber attack, you know, this is something that I think is really important. A lot of people think of the moment of the boom. And I can tell you, friends, that as I'm going through my journey, learning more about cyber attacks, especially from the experts at Coveware that have come into the mix here at Veeam, we have learned so much more about these attacks. There's the boom, the pop, the wow, the oh no moment, but it goes so much further back in time. And Michael and Brad do a good job of kind of outlining that timeline here. And this is really awesome. So can I get a stinger from that on the no stinger? Okay. But yeah, there it is. There's my
Live.
stinger. Yeah, we are live. I didn't tell Mark that was coming, but he said go to motion, so I thought it was coming. But it is a long timeline when it comes to the ransomware attacks. A lot of people just think when the exploit goes, but everything from observation, sneaking in, base of operations, a command and control center, lateral movement, crippling recoverability, and then striking, right? So this is a timeline. And what I want to highlight, which is separate from this, is that ransomware is the worst type of disaster.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, you know, we grew up preparing for fire, flood, and blood when it comes to disasters. But, you know, in a slide I'm going to steal tomorrow.
Okay,
You will,
preview.
yes, exactly. And I think it would be covered in our data protection trends report, which is part of the news kit this year. You'll see kind of surprisingly how low natural disasters are in the you know, type of disasters that we get, right? So I look at every single one of these, and I think that Brad and Michael do a really good job of highlighting that while, again, natural disasters or things like that are the ones that we historically have prepared for, copy that, and the recovery points and then the different, you know, cyber recovery sides of it really makes you have to take a complete approach, and you really have to prepare for both. In fact, there was a really good story, Sophia, a couple years ago. Edwin on our team last year at VeeamON hosted Edwin from the Netherlands, double Edwin show.
Okay, 2 Edwins from the Netherlands?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and they had a disaster within a disaster. So they had a cyber incident within a natural disaster. So
Oh.
it can happen, the double disaster. So you need to prepare for both because both may
Definitely.
happen at once. So good stuff. And just a reminder, you can register at VeeamON.com. Basically, go on over to VeeamON.com. You can register for VeeamON. We're going to be live tomorrow with a bunch of keynotes. I see a bunch of good comments coming in. I got one coming in from Luis.
Oh.
This one you'll love, Sophia. I'm very proud of the Veeam community and the Veeam 100 group as a Vanguard. Thank you so much, Rick, Maddie, Sophia, and Nikki. Oh,
Thank you, Luis.
Thank you, Luis. That's awesome. And then also a comment from Storage Review. Uh-oh. We're thrilled to be here. Thanks for ordering the nice weather. Okay, you got to watch comments from that. Hey, shout out Brian and Kevin. You guys are good people. So thank you for that. Community's real. When I'm knowing them by first name without even getting the first name, you know it's real. All right, next up on Steal a Slide. This one's cool, Sophia. We're going to go to the hidden feature hunt.
That one, yeah. I mean, this is also kind of similar to what they did last year. Andreas and Fabian, they did a similar session, hidden features in version 12, and that was super popular. I got in the room and I couldn't even find a seat, you know.
Well, and we repeated it last year.
You repeated it.
Yeah.
And it's twice this year. Like Rick said, it'll be recorded and available afterwards. But Rick, let us know what's going on with this session.
Yeah, so I had basically preemptively decided to add this one as a repeat to the agenda. Incredibly popular last year. And what I really like about both Andreas and Fabian's content is they did not just dust off from 12.0 and take a lot of that stuff over. They have brought in new stuff specifically to 12.1. And so one of those that I want to highlight is with the Security and Compliance Analyzer. So basically, you might say, why is there a pirate?
Yeah, it's Fabian. If you don't, do you notice that?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Oh, that's
That's
Fabian.
Fabian.
Holy
it's like
buckets.
an AI.
Yeah.
Fabian pirate.
It's like Pirate Fabian. But anyways, in the Security and Compliance Analyzer, I want to draw your attention to that schedule button. This is so wicked cool. And what I mean by that is we can run the Security and Compliance Analyzer to run and have those results sent by email. This is super attractive. And what I mean by that is if something changes, you're notified. And if you think about the whole nature of the Security and Compliance Analyzer, hopefully there's not people touching it, manipulating it, and changing it. But if there are, we'll be notified. And then this is, again, another layer. We've got VeeamON looking out for us. We've got the orchestrator. But I really like this that I stole in Pirate's form, and I'm told...
Yeah, you are a pirate.
I'm told that there is, this will make sense in the actual presentation. So for those of you watching at home, you can go over to VeeamON.com and you can register. And I believe it'll be in about a week or two. This session will be up live on the replay.
I expect full pirate gear from them both.
That's the secret I wasn't going to tell everybody, but yes.
Oh, okay. You didn't have to spoil it. I didn't know. I really didn't.
I expect something like that is up. But anyways,
forward to it.
Check out the Security and Compliance Analyzer if you have not. All right, well, that's all the slides I'm going to steal. So this is good stuff. So Sophia, thank you so much for being with me here on VeeamON today, powered by Object First. All right, so I got to give a big thanks to my producers. There's people everywhere talking in my ear and laser beams and cameras. This is awesome. So tomorrow, just a reminder, we've got VeeamON today, powered by Object First. We're going to have David Bennett, the CEO of Object First. We're going to talk about their solution in the context of Veeam. It's one of the only offerings built specifically for Veeam, so you definitely want to come back in for that. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to have Jason Garbus from Numberline Security talk about ZTDR, Zero Trust Data Resilience, and we'll also be stealing slides.
Every day.
Tomorrow's going to be special.
Okay.
So you did the walk through the back with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do the kitchen walk tomorrow because we're up at 8. The general session's at 8:30, so I have to go.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I'll get
have to run.
I'll get a preview of what's going for lunch though, because we could see that happening. All right, on behalf of my producers, I want to say thank you. There's a huge team right behind us here working on everything. Felicia on social media relaying some of the comments, as well as Mark and the Taylor team helping us out. So thank you all for watching. VeeamON today, powered by Object First. We will see you tomorrow.